Hi, Jay Fallon. Okay, so I've got a few headlines that came out the last couple of days that I really want to discuss. Uh, these headlines came out here in Queensland, predominantly the ones that come out on the Courier Mail. I'm finding that the older I get, the less patience I have for stupid. I can't handle it as much as I used to. I used to be able to, okay, yep, and listen to people talk and think, okay, you're a bit dumb, but I can accept it. The older I get, I can't listen to stupid anymore. But other things I do have a lot more patience for. But I look at these headlines and I think, this is stupid. Australians, we're becoming more stupid. Our Prime Minister, he's like leading the charge. So look, I'll bring up these headlines here.
Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
I really just wonder, what did you think was going to happen when our government comes out and supports this two-state solution, but you're supporting a group of people. It's like you don't understand the history of it. This group of people are actually supporters of genocide. You go and accuse the people, you go and accuse the people who are defending themselves from genocide of committing genocide, and you go and support the other group of people who actually not just want, hold secret desires for genocide, but actually say they put it out there. They say blatantly, we want to wipe this group off the face of the earth. And then you wonder why you have issues in your country when you're supporting this kind of behaviours. David Crisafulli blasts Hamas flag at the Brisbane Pro-Palestine rally as horrendous. The flag is horrendous, but we've encouraged this. But now it's horrendous. He's blasted it, David Crisafulli. So that's our premier. In case you don't know, I'm in Queensland. That's our premier. He's blasted the appearance of a Hamas flag. Tens of thousands of protesters marched through Brisbane CBD on Sunday, but the appearance of a Hamas flag has soured the event. That is what soured the events. People marching for a group that actually has the desire to wipe from the face of the earth another group of people. But it's the flag. That's what soured the event. It's just horrendous. And that individual should bear the full force of the law, Crisafulli said. Well, Crisafulli, do you pronounce his name Crisafulli? I made the observation that the march and the organisers did agree to the direction from police to not go over the Story Bridge, but that individual can't get away with that because that is provocative. It's insightful. It's anti-Semitic. Who would have thought that the group that their whole existence is because they hate the Jews? Who would have thought that they would be encouraging a flag like the Hamas flag? Remember, the Palestinian people did a poll just recently amongst themselves. Hey, who here supports Hamas? Well over 50% of them said, yep, we support Hamas. Yep, we support the action that they took in October of 2020 of 2023. We support all these things. Well, go figure. I'll go to bring up the next headline. I found very. This is Andrew Bolt. I don't always agree with Andrew Bolt, but you gotta admit, okay, when he's telling a bit of truth here, it is telling. He says that I did not hear one critic of Hamas at the anti-Israel rally. Didn't hear one of them. He says more, why doesn't Hamas end the famine and genocide of its people by laying down its arms? Because that's all they have to do. Even countries invaded by the Nazis back in the day, in that, big war that we had, surrendered rather than have their people suffer more. They have said, you know what? We'll surrender. But no. So think what it says about Hamas, that it could look at the devastation of Gaza since it started this war and conclude it should keep it going. Because their whole desire, what drives them is the annihilation of Israel. It's not that they actually care about their own people on the ground. If Hamas surrendered, Israel would have to stop fighting. They'd have no choice. Aid and cash would replace bombs and bullets, but Hamas clearly clearly cares nothing for the lives of Palestinians. It started this war without one bomb shelter to save civilians from the Israeli reaction Hamas wanted. It now steals food brought in by the United Nations. So this is because Hamas wants dead Palestinians. Okay, so as Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh, however you say it, since killed, said in 2023, the blood of the women, children, and elderly, we are the ones who need this blood. So it awakens within us the revolutionary spirit, and Israel gets the blame and hate. So, what is the future of the Palestinians if Hamas is not destroyed? He says, I understand people saying Israel has gone too far and now creates a new terrorist for everyone it kills. Indeed, two congressional sources told reporters in January that US intelligence found Israel had killed 15,000 Hamas fighters, but Hamas had recruited 15,000 more. But even if Sunday's protesters do just hate how Israel is fighting, why don't they hate Hamas even more? It's because they're blinded by their own hatred, they're blinded by their own anti Semitism, and they fail to read anything about actual history. Is Iran have hated Israel for 40 years now. Their entire existence of their new regime since the revolution, their entire existence is the because they want to destroy, absolutely annihilate Israel. They hate the Jew. They want to kill the Jew. Okay, before we go into anything else, we'll look at what came out today. Anthony Albanese revealed ASIO found Iran targeted Australia in two anti-Semitic attacks. Who would have thought that a country that's based its whole existence on the destruction of Israel and the Jewish people, stated continuously how much it hates the Jews, hates America, hates Western culture? Who would have thunk for a second that they might be behind a couple of targeted attacks here in Australia, that they might actually be supporting some of these clowns, some of these groups that do these protests here in Australia? They might. Who would have thought that they would be behind it? Maybe it's because they've been telling us for 40 years how much they hate the Jews, how much they want to wipe them off the face of the earth. Maybe we should just actually believe these groups, these people, these leaders, when they say they hate it, they hate these people, when they say they want to destroy us, destroy America, destroy Israel, maybe we should just believe them and not allow them and their supporters in our country. Maybe. Maybe. Australian intelligence agencies have discovered the Iranian government directed at least two anti Semitic attacks in Australia. Albanese on Tuesday said the Australian Security Intelligence Organisation had established the Iranian government was behind an October 20 attack on Bondo's Lewis Continental Kitchen and the December 6 firebombing of the Adas Israel Synagogue in Melbourne. The Australian government pulled its diplomats from Tehran and has moved to expel Iran's ambassador to Australia. ASIO assesses it is likely Iran directed further attacks as well, the Prime Minister said. I can also announce the government will legislate to list Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, as a terrorist organization. I thought the Americans had already done that. But Australia, too dumb. Sorry, I am correct. Didn't they already do that? But now we're finally getting on board and realizing that maybe the Iranian government are not our friends. Maybe the only democratic nation within the Middle East who were once, like, probably good allies, good friends. Maybe we shouldn't be pushing them away. Maybe we shouldn't be turning our backs on them. Maybe we shouldn't be lecturing them because they're the ones who are getting attacked. Maybe we shouldn't have been lecturing them. Maybe Penny Wong is not the best foreign minister to have when she is so adamant that she is against Israel. If you think maybe Iran isn't all that bad, let's check out some of these other headlines. These aren't recent. This one here, August 6, 2022. Commander says Iran will destroy Israel and attack the US. They've been telling us this for years, but we just want to ignore it. This This headline here, this was from September 30 in 2019. So what's that, 6 years ago? Top Iran general says destroying Israel is an achievable goal. That's their goal. Destroy Israel. The commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guards. Remember, Albanese just said, "Oh, we can legislate that the Revolutionary Guards as terrorists." Oh, they've been telling us for years that this is what they want. This is their goal. But just now, he has the bright idea of, "Oh, let's legislate them as freaking terrorists." You're a freaking idiot, Albanese. A bit slow to the ball game there. You nufty. This sinister regime must be wiped off the map. This is what Iran has been saying about Israel. They're a sinister regime. They've got to be wiped off the map. But no. Let's let's support Palestine, who are run by Hamas, who are just a part of the Iranian regime. Let's support them, Australia. You idiots, Albanese. Yeah, so they've been telling us for years. Hey, another one. Um, oof. So another one here. Iran general. This one came out in 2019 as well. January 2019. Iran general says Tehran aims to wipe Israel off the global political map. And the last one, this is from World Crunch. This is from 2024, so a little more recent. How Iran's obsession with destroying Israel has undermined its own hold on power. Iran's 40-year policy. It's been saying this for 40 years. We want to kill the Jew. But for some reason, Australia, Albanese didn't think, oh, maybe they were serious. Maybe they really do want to do it. So Iran's 40-year policy of seeking the destruction of the Jewish state and taking back. How do you take back what you never had? Because before it was given back to the Jewish people, and it was theirs originally anyway, before it was given back to them, you know who had it? The Turks. The Turks had it. Before the, sorry, wasn't it? It was given back. The land was given back to the Jewish people, and before that, it was. I think it was in the British hands. Before that, it was the Turks. So how was Iran taking it back? Idiots. Listen, here's the point, Mr. Albanese, because of course you must listen to my podcast. Many people who should know better assume that political leaders obscure their goals. They just dance around the facts of what they really want. So, and I think this is an issue that we have in Western society, definitely in Australia. We assume that political leaders around the world obscure their goals, they wish to achieve, or they muddle the ideas that animate them. So, even though historical records shows the wisdom of taking them at face value, obviously, the world should have heeded out of Hitler's anti-Semitism. When had his rise to power in Germany, Osama bin Laden declared jihad against America in 1996. Maybe Western culture, maybe America, maybe they should have stood up and said, "Oh, maybe we should take him seriously. Maybe we should take him at face value." Iran has said for decades it hates Israel, it hates the Jew, it wants to wipe them off the face of the earth. The Palestinian motto, their little chant, from the river to the sea, at face value means they want the whole land for themselves. They don't want the Jew. Hamas says it wants to wipe them off the face of the earth. So why on flipping heck? So please tell me, Mr. Albanese, why don't you just take them at face value? So it seems blatantly obvious that Iran, Hamas, the Palestinians are pulling the strings to orchestrate mayhem and confusion. And you're not helping when you stand up and say, we're going to demand a two-state solution with an area where you then blatantly just ignore the history. The history where Iran says they want to wipe them off the face of the earth. Where when Israel was first formed, all these nations surrounded them and said, no, we cannot accept a Jewish state, and we are going to wipe them off the face of the earth. They, all these nations, I'm sorry, all these Arab nations have been declaring it. Even though I don't think Iran is actually Arab because they're Persian. But all these nations around there, these Muslim nations, they hate Israel. They've been declaring they hate Israel for decades and decades, since the rebirth of Israel. And yet, our Prime Minister says, oh no, we're going to support a two-state solution. We're going to push a two-state solution. We're going to support the Palestinian people, even though the Palestinian people support Hamas, and even though Hamas are just a branch of the Iranian government. Go figure. Like I said, I'm losing my patience for stupid the older I get. And Albanese, you're stupid. All of a sudden, ASIO stands up and says, oh, look, we think Iran might be behind some of these attacks in Australia. This is just my opinion. What would I know? Thanks for listening. Let me know what you think.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna stop me now. No more deals to be done. No more selling out my soul just to focus on the goal. Nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna hold me down. Got my eye on the prize, gonna set on the clouds and tears on side. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna stop me now. No more deals to be done. No more selling out my soul just to focus on the goal. Nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna hold me down. Got my eye on the prize, gonna set on my doubts.